So this weekend we are shifting traffic over to the new alignment. This will be the northbound traffic on the general purpose lanes will be shifted over to the new southbound general purpose lanes bridge that we've just finished construction of. That shift is going to last for about 12 months, and it will be a full speed shift. And what that means is we'll be diverting all 3 lanes over to the new alignment and maintaining the interstate speed, which means we have a substantial amount of pavement that we have to add. Traffic should be able to flow through there at a free flow and not notice the shift as we go through into the future. So it should be business as usual in Fredericksburg after the shift. Essentially, we had to pick this work window over the weekend. This project, this particular shift could have been dragged out over a month of work at nighttime trying to expand these lanes. And that would have required substantial asphalt work and intermittent lane closures that overall would have had an increased cumulative effect on the public transit through here. So what we've done instead is try to condense that into an 18-hour window in which we'll have the least overall cumulative impact on traffic. So we will have major impacts on Saturday night and potentially early Sunday morning, but hopefully that will be short-lived and we will be back to business as usual on Sunday afternoon. All of that decision-making was driven by data looking at traffic forecasting and modeling. We've done several models and simulations to come up with what our traffic delays should look like in the corridor and come up with some guidelines about how to handle that if we deviate from those models at all as we go. Next slide, please. So to emphasize the point, you can see here, this is a profile view alongside the new alignment. You can see that there's a substantial amount of asphalt. To build this shift at speed, we basically at certain points will have to increase or add almost 1.5 feet of asphalt to the existing I-95 profile. That is why we have to do this closure of the through lanes and the diversion over to the exit road. Because without that, what we would have to do is build each lane slowly, piece by piece, night by night. So you would have 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, and stacking that up. I actually joked about bringing some blocks to stack up, but needless to say, it would be painful, and on top of that would propose overall a greater safety risk to the area as motorcycles and other specialty vehicles would come through the area and be faced with uneven pavement for as long as a month as we try to do that buildup. Not to mention that we would almost triple to quadruple the amount of asphalt that we would have to put down for that temporary condition just to maintain traffic on the corridor. So in the end, this was a data-driven, smart decision for the Commonwealth to make sure that we could extract as little pain as possible trying to do this overall shift. Next slide, please. So hour by hour, what you can expect at 4 p.m., we will be dropping a single lane closed. That'll be the left lane towards the median will close at the 4 p.m. We don't expect substantial backups beyond what we normally see in Fredericksburg at that time. At 5 p.m., things will begin to get a little more complex as 2 lanes will be closed. Now, when those 2 lanes are closed, we will then open the exit road, what we would call the collector-distributor road, at 133. Traffic will be split through on both roads. So we will still have 2 lanes open at that point. We will be diverting some of the through traffic over to the CD lanes. You'll want to make sure that you pay attention to the split. So when you go to split at that exit, that will be the most complex point for drivers, and they will need to focus and understand that if they take the exit road, they will still be on I-95 North and will still be going through. You will not have to take the exit road. At 8:30 p.m., we will then go to closing all 3 existing through lanes, and all traffic will be diverted to the exit road, the collector-distributor road. At that point, we will also be instituting a closure of the northbound access ramps from 17. Now, one note to make is if we start to see issues and conflicts arising with the northbound ramps connecting to that collector-distributor road after 5 p.m., so between 5 and 8:30 p.m., we may move to close the ramps earlier than 8:30, depending on travel conditions. Once those ramps are closed, all traffic on 17 that would need to access northbound will need to proceed down to Route 1 at the Falmouth intersection and head north on Route 1 to the Centerport Parkway exit to get back to northbound. What this will do is minimize the conflict between exiting and entering drivers on northbound and the through traffic that is now using the diversionary lane. At 10 a.m. on Sunday, we hope to reopen all northbound lanes, and the Route 17 ramps to I-95 northbound will also reopen at that time. We also have some contingency plans in the event that the paving moves slower than anticipated we are working through those contingency plans about what we will be able to open up Sunday morning as quickly as possible. Our main drive will be to hit that 10 a.m. mark and have the travel lanes back open. Next slide, please. On this next graphic, you'll see where we'll have advanced work zone signage. Right now, we are currently here at the visitors rest area. We will have advanced work zone signage on northbound 95 across from this location. This is where our work zone will begin, and people will need to start shifting over to the right as the lane closure goes in. So at this point, we would have the single and the double lane closure over. People will need to be shifting to the right as they come up to exit 133. Next picture, please. As you approach exit 133 and you notice that you'll see the exit road over to your right and you'll see the remaining through lanes, the important part will be to understand that you can take the exit road and stay in that lane and come through and still be going through on northbound 95. This will essentially keep 2 lanes open throughout the 5 to 8:30 p.m. window. After that, all traffic will shift over. You can go to the next slide. The next slide, all traffic will shift fully to the right-hand lane as we approach exit 133. Next slide, please. And then once you get to exit 133, you will be diverted off to the exit road and you will proceed straight through and back onto I-95 northbound. Next. So our message to travelers, the department has done extensive outreach to commuters who may be coming through or visiting the region, as well as locals. One of our primary messages has been please divert onto alternative routes, the primary one being Route 301 for through travelers that are going south to north. We would like you to please use exit 104 if you enter the Fredericksburg district and get to exit 104. Please divert there to Route 301 to head to points north of Virginia. Otherwise, if you're even further south than there, you can also get off at 295 on the 301 as well. And by spreading that out a little bit, that will help the flow on that alternative route. We are actually working to coordinate some signals and things like that. I'll get to that in a later slide. If you're heading to points west in the state and you're coming from the south, we would advise that you take I-64 or you take alternative routes to head west to Route 29, Route 15, I-81, any of those corridors to head to points west. I would not wait until you get to the Fredericksburg area to start that westerly direction. As soon as you can before Fredericksburg will assist us in not only maintaining the work zone, but will assist you in getting through the corridor. If you do come into Fredericksburg, expect major travel delays. Backups will be anywhere as high as 3.5 to 4 miles under the existing model. That's one of our worst case scenarios. At best, you're still looking at a 1.5 mile backup as you approach the work zone, and that would be the absolute best case scenario. And that does not account for potential incidences and things that may occur. I can't emphasize enough to avoid Fredericksburg on this Saturday evening and Sunday morning if you can do so. If you do not need to be on the I-95 corridor, please schedule your travel around this closure. We would ask that you do that. It will be smooth sailing outside of these windows. You will come through there hopefully at full speed barring an event. But please let us get this work done and avoid the area during this time.